What you're about to watch is a special private training session for people who bought a copy of my book, Built to Serve. Enjoy. All right, Jose. He took his hat off, but he's still here. He's still got the big smile. What do we got, man?
I took my hat off, but I'm sipping tequila. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone.
There we go.
Happy to see you. A quick thing. I feel like someone mentioned something before about sharing positivity or helping people. I don't know, but I know I made a note here, which is like for me, when I want to share positivity for people, and that maybe someone else can use this tip. What I do is that I send people an Evan Carmichael video. And I say, check out this video from my good friend, Evan. So I just wanted to say that.
Cool, man. Thank you.
I have two questions. I'll put them together, but one of them about Instagram. Like I've never used Instagram as a platform to grow on. I was never interested in growing on Instagram, but I use it as kind of like a resume. So that when people say, oh, where can I find you? Like, where can I kind of like, you know, like I'm like, oh, well, here's my Instagram. And they could kind of like see like, hey, I'm alive, I'm active. I'm in the space. So I was curious on your thoughts on that. And then the last thing that I really wanted to ask you is that I'm in the process of promoting a book that I just co-wrote. I'm a collaborating author. And some of the best videos that I found so far on YouTube on how to promote a book are from Evan Carmichael 6 and 7 years ago.
There we go.
So any thoughts that you had present day, if you were putting out, you know, I know you just put out this book 2 years ago, which is still bringing us a tremendous value and community and so many things. But if you were putting out a book today or next month or next quarter, what would be some of your, I mean, obviously you have a huge following, right? So let's say for someone like me that doesn't have that.
Well, so it's taking both of your questions together, you're trying to accomplish two different things. And so if you want to sell a book, then you need to grow your following. It can't just be a resume. Because you need to get people to, you want people to buy your book. There's nothing wrong with just having Instagram as a resume. Cool, that can definitely work. But like, what are your goals for where we want it? So my goal is to sell a book. Cool. Now, well, we need to have an audience. So when you're thinking about something like a book or product or a course launch or any of these things that we're trying to sell as experts, there's always your own audience, and then there's other people's audiences. Your own audience is the best long-term, most sustainable thing that you can use and build. So, you know, hopefully there's not just one book inside Jose Gonzalez. There's more books coming up. And so the more you have an audience, the more you can promote your book for future ones that come out. So now we need to start building an audience. And so what is your message? What is your content? That's not going to happen like instantly right away. But we need to start gearing our minds towards sharing your message with people so that they love you and they end up wanting to support you and also support themselves by picking up your books, etc. Next, more short term for your own following, you could DM everybody on Instagram with a video asking for support. So if I really needed to sell Built to Serve, like if that was my top priority, I would go through whoever followed me. Now we've got, you know, 250,000 people on Instagram, but if it was 2,000 or 100, I would video DM everybody to say, hey, Faith, thank you so much for following me. I wanted to let you know I've got a new book. It's called Built to Serve. I'd love your support if I can send you a link to check it out. Hey, Lady Lexi, thank you so much for following me. Like one by one, hand-to-hand combat, going off to tell people what you've got and asking for their support. And so the bigger audience you have, the easier that is to do. It's not, you know, there's only so many you can do in a day, right? So like I couldn't do that for everybody who follows me. But if I was getting started and I wanted to get my book out or I was launching my course or whatever, that's what I would do. That's why Instagram becomes important. We were watching a video this morning from the CEO of Instagram talking about Instagram's growth is in direct messaging and reels. It's not about the pictures. It's about a lot happens in the direct messaging and then in the reels for content. So it's my favorite platform for direct messaging. Every morning I'm walking outside and I'm sending videos to people, thanking them for different things. So that's what I would do as a starting point with your audience. But it changes the mindset. Now it's not just a resume. That whether it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, now you need to build an audience if you want to sell your books and anything else. And then phase two would be also, who else can you who has an audience that might be willing to put you on. So one of the biggest things authors always do when they come up with a new book is they go on other people's shows, whether it's an Instagram Live, whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, like wherever they have their audience, you want to try to be a part of it. And hopefully you gain a little bit of following from them as well. So that's not as sustainable as building up your own following. But whenever you're in launch mode, that's always the two things. Like, what do I have for my own audience? And who are the other people whose audience I can tap into to promote my book?
Awesome. Thank you, man. It's good to see you again.
Cool, man. I love it. We got Tanya in the house. What do we got, Tanya?
Yes, hi, Evan. So my question is in regards of when you're using different platforms, like you have your followers all spread out. Mm-hmm. How is there any strategy, I don't know, to kind of like direct them to the one that you want to grow? Like when I have my personal account and I have my business account. So in business, we have Facebook, we have TikTok, we have Instagram. Yes, those, and we are creating YouTube. After I started Movement Makers, I realized that, we were missing that one.
Let's go.
that we should have had before, but yeah, so we are developing that one. So my idea is kind of like mirror what you're doing and give more importance to YouTube and then TikTok, which I think is great. It's a great platform. I haven't paid attention as much, but I like it, especially for my audience. Yeah. And then Instagram. But I have audience like spread out. Is there any way to put together?
I would say it's not a great strategy to bring it all together. So you want to meet people where they're at. Some people love TikTok and they just want to stay on TikTok. So don't try to get them to Instagram. Like Instagram, I don't want to use Instagram. Some people love YouTube, so meet them on YouTube. And if you want to have a big message, then like someone like for me, I want to solve the world's biggest problem. So I got to be where the most people are. Mm-hmm. If you have a niche business and it only caters to certain people, then you want to be where those people are. Like Tony, he was on Facebook, right? It's like to say, I need everybody to get over to Facebook, right? To do that is crazy because people they don't want to use Facebook anymore. Mm-hmm. So you meet people where they're at and help them with what they need help with. And so that might mean maybe you can't be on every platform yourself right now. That's okay. Like you have to pick YouTube and one other, cool. But the only thing I would try to do is capture their email address so that you have a way to communicate with them. But I wouldn't try to consolidate them because a lot of my audience doesn't want to meet me on TikTok or Instagram. And so, and when you do, it doesn't convert very well. Like when people come from my Instagram to YouTube, they don't watch the videos for very long. So I actually want them to stay on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube, like stay on the platform, unless it's converting to a sale. They're going to hire you for something or convert into an email address where they're going to give you their email in exchange for some bonus that you're going to give them.
Okay, great. Beautiful advice. Meet them where they are. Nice. Thank you.
All right. We got 2 minutes. Maria, what do we got? Let's do it.
I don't know. It might be too much, but we'll do what we can. So I keep grappling with this for years. I have a niche problem where I have 2 separate websites and I get clients from both. And so I'm sort of, since I joined Movement Makers, I Body Confidence Solutions. And I know that the underlying reason that I help people have sustainable change is I deal with trauma, I deal with stress, I deal with all the stuff that keeps them, just recycling back into old behaviors. And so I have another website, Modern Stress Solutions, which I still I was just invited on Monday. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I was invited to do a presentation to 270 construction workers because it's the highest industry of suicide. It was so gratifying. But the point is that I love doing that kind of stuff around stress management, so like people that look at Body Confidence Solutions, they think, well, she's a health coach. I talk about transformation from the inside out, and I go deeper in my videos about living in your body and having a more better connection with your body. But that includes releasing stress, trauma. So it feels a lot to have 2 separate websites. I do 2 separate newsletters every week. It's sort of crazy. And I don't know if there's a way to, I mean, they are both connected. And you know, my story is that I healed from multiple eating disorders, but the stress solutions is really the how, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I guess my question is, do I even notice when I do my lives on Instagram and people, there's some people that like, they really want to learn some of these techniques, even if they're not struggling with their weight. So do I just keep my niche, like with, you know, health around weight, food, or broaden it? I mean, I get more gratification out of, well, I guess at all of it, as long as I'm serving and helping people to uncover the stuff that's keeping them stuck, that's the piece for me, whether it's weight, addictive behavior, or, you know, depression or any of that.
So I think it's something a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, to the branding and how many brands do I have and how many websites and how many accounts. It is very taxing to have multiple accounts and multiple domain names and multiple emails and multiple Instagrams and multiple TikToks. It can be very, very demanding. It's usually not worth it. So you have a couple scenarios. One, you leave one that's just more on autopilot, that's there, that you're not actively, we're not taking it down, but we're not really doing much with it, because if something comes in, cool, but it's not really where we're putting our focus. Or 2, you combine them into one, and the one brand is not a brand name like Body Confidence Solutions. The combination is Maria Lipuma. And so everything that I do, I'm a different person to different people. For some people, I'm the Believe guy. For some people, I'm the YouTube guy. For some people, I'm the author. For some people, I'm the salsa dancer. You know, I'll go salsa dancing, you know, brought up my studio, but some people don't even know what my business is. I'm just the guy who owns a salsa studio. And so it leads to different conversations. But inside everything is still Believe for me. You're teaching Believe through the books, through the content, through the YouTube channel, through salsa dancing, through everything. That's the common thread. So that for me is easier. And my brands have always been a reflection of me. When I first started my website, I did evancarmichael.com as just as a landing spot, like no real thought behind it. And then as SEO became a thing, I wish I called it like, why didn't I call it Small Business Solutions or something? Like, why didn't I put some keywords in there? And then I realized, no, it's actually better that I kept it off my name, because my name could be whatever I want my name to be. And so you might find yourself in another field in a couple of years that still relates to stress and anxiety and how to overcome those, but maybe it's something completely different that you realize it's still the same. So I'm in general, it's easier to build it off of a personal brand as opposed to a company name that kind of locks you into a niche. So those are your 3 options. Like, one, you run both together and kind of will always feel stretched between the 2, maybe bring on team and help, but you probably won't do either of them really well. Option 2 is you take one and you really commit to it, and the other one you just leave on autopilot. And when stuff happens, cool, but like, this is what I'm going to be known for. Or option 3 is you just build your personal brand, and wherever Maria wants to go, that's what Maria ends up creating. And it gives you a lot more flexibility to do the next thing. So I thought it was the worst decision. Like, if you go back and ask me when I was 23 years old, I thought building it off of Evan Carmichael, first off, sounds super egotistical. And also it's like, this is the stupidest thing I could have made, because nobody knows who I am. But if I called it Small Business Solutions or something, it makes more sense. But that ended up being the most genius thing that I could have done. And people will connect with your brand, your personal face, and your message more than a company logo. If you want to get a copy of Built to Serve and join us live for our next training with me to ask your questions, you can go get the book right there next to me, right there. I'll see you there. I'll see you to get the book. It's a good one. Much love.